Hey guys, welcome back to Tiny Disneyland. So in this episode, we're going to venture off to Main Street. I basically did that last week. And yeah, this park is growing quite quickly. It kind of is a benefit because I chose not to be so realistic with it and kind of just making it a imagination of Disneyland actually is very helpful in production because this is going quicker than I thought. So our first week basically was the Main Street station and the front. Second week was Town Square, and then now third week is Main Street. So a lot has already been added to the park. So let's go quickly through what I need to show you what I've worked on. So some of these buildings, I decided to remove certain features of Main Street, and the big notice is that I don't have the center streets, so I don't have either the left or the right streets that would go down Main Street. So there'll be one here and then one this way. Don't have them because my Main Street is very small and very short. So I decided which buildings I really wanted to kind of represent in my Main Street. Speaking of like representing certain things, so like the Penny Arcade, I chose the Penny Arcade over the Crystal Arcade is because of the simplicity of them. So Penny Arcade is easier to replicate in vanilla versus the Crystal Arcade, which is actually round and curvature, and I don't think I can pull that off with vanilla. Probably with Construction Anarchy and Rotation Anarchy with modded stuff, I probably could do it. But in this case, I couldn't do it. So I decided just to do one arcade, and I think this one worked out really well. I liked my little method. I used pipes here to suggest curving architecture, and this actually worked out really well. My next favorite building would be the refreshment corner, or the Coca-Cola corner as I would call it. This is a fun little building back here too. All these buildings are really only possible because we got the new shapes and stuff. Oh my gosh, if I had done this project, let's say 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't have the hexagon shape to help me out a lot in this because that shape is very, very strong. And I'd be using that one a lot. And we got some of like the new details, like the brick details here. That's a wonderful piece now. I haven't used them yet until now, so that's great to use them. The long egg-shaped pieces, or the prolongs, I think they're called. What are they called? Oh, prolates. The prolate pieces. Yeah, those are wonderful. I love those. Those are great pieces to use. Let's go over to the other side of the street. So we have the hotel. We saw that in the last episode. I needed to build the cinema because I think that was a very appropriate thing to build. I saw there's actually, I think, a couple of these cinemas on the workshop, which is actually really cool that people have already been making like Main Street buildings from the get-go, but I want to try my hand on it, so I built my own. Built a couple of other facade buildings of different styles and shapes, and then I kept the end caps of Main Street basically the same as the original Main Street, just a little different. So you have the Photoshop, that's like the Kodak Photoshop, and then I did the differences in my park. It's, again, with being Tiny Disneyland, I can now decide what is important to have and what's not important to have, and cutting off some of those longer areas. And so that's kind of what's going to happen here. Like with the refreshment corner here, there's actually, the street goes longer this way actually, and there's supposed to be a planter of trees right here, but I removed that because the street's already here. Same with the Jolly Holiday. Put this in. This was a hard building to put in. This took about 2.5 hours to put together. Had to go through a couple different renditions. It was insane how this was like, such a headache and a half. But I chose the challenge for building vanilla, didn't I? If I was building this in modded Parkitect, it still would be hard because it would be, I have to make it match the realistic counterpart, and I really didn't want to have that pressure on me. And I like the idea of this not being so, it's not struggling to work on this project actually. That's why I like doing it this way. And it's kind of just a quick way to see what we can do with a vanilla build, and it kind of still represents my ideal Disneyland. I haven't really like fully decided which version of Disneyland I want. I have the People Mover, so I'm already kind of dating myself maybe to the 90s. I can't remember when they got removed. I think they got removed in the early 90s or the late 80s. I don't remember. I would have to look that up. But or having people move around, I'm kind of already dating myself, or this park's kind of being dated. But I kind of like the idea of making this a mixed park of things that I want to see in my park. So the next thing that I need to work on are a couple things. So I've already started work on somewhat of Tomorrowland, but more of a test run. I'm kind of just testing out what I want to do. It's not finalized. Same thing with like the Buzz Lightyear Astro Balloon. I haven't even touched that. I could touch it this week if I feel like it. The big thing I really should work on is maybe like to finish the hub area. So get each land finished, like the entrances. So the Tomorrowland entrance needs to be finished with the Plaza Inn restaurant. Maybe get the castle built right off the bat, and then get the Frontierland part and the Adventureland part built and done. The other parts of the park are kind of just sitting and kind of just in testing phases. Like I had a friend build the Jungle Cruise station for me. I kind of like most of the station. I might have to tweak some things here, but this is a really cool way to do it. There's some things I really love about this build that this person was doing. They're also mimicking me, which is awesome. Also cool too. So the strawberry piece for the net, great piece to use. But using the hay bales here for wooden like beams, I didn't think about using that. That's pretty neat. The jade elephant, that's a really cool touch. Doing this arch bit is really neat idea to kind of suggest it was like a painted pieces of stone. That's really neat. I like that a lot. So I might tweak this build a little bit, maybe add some more details. Like I want to add a border against this roof maybe. Maybe add some more ridging here on top of this roof. Oops. But everything else about this build is pretty solid. I like it a lot. Some other things I worked on off other places would be, I kind of placed the Rivers of America. It is not necessarily finalized. The Haunted Mansion and the Splash Mountain are kind of put in, but not necessarily finalized either. I was trying to figure out how to do train tracks through them, how to extend the Haunted Mansion building, to be exact. The same builder who built the Jungle Cruise boats, that would be EFG9, I think is his name. I'd double check, because I was just talking to them about, yeah, EFG9. And it's a wonderful build of Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I like it. I'm going to adjust some of the building a little bit, like add a little bit more straightness to make it more boxy. But overall, it's a fantastic little build. This is my favorite part, the Hufflepuff and Woozles. This is a good one. It's smart. It fits the style of what I'm going for. This tiny Disneyland, and it's just well done. So it shows me that we as builders can benefit from each other, and that's what's really cool about it. So I'm probably going to adjust this a little bit. Like the entrance to the ride will probably be under the train track or above where the train track is. That's in real life it is where it is, but none of this is finalized. Like all this stuff is just like rough concept arting in a way, and as I get closer to those locations, things will change and evolve, and things will start. What I'm fearing what's going to happen in this project, by the way, is as I close up, when I start finishing corners of the map, things will be harder and harder to fit in. So I have to be strategical on where things go now, or I'm going to get myself into a corner that I can't get out of. So I'm slowly getting there. Like, for example, Space Mountain. Where's that going to go? I have some ideas. I think I want it either, let's say, here or here. I don't know yet until I dictate where the railroad's going to go. I have some, again, this is the thing about projects like this, is that you might get yourself in trouble if you don't somewhat pre-plan, even though most of my building process is not pre-planning, but it is kind of yes and no. I kind of got distracted because I was going to tell you what I was going to work on next. So, I talked about the hub, right? And then I might venture off to building the Tiki Room behind the Jolly Holiday, and to start work on Adventureland, because I do need to work on the Adventureland buildings and the Frontierland buildings at the same time, because they share a show building. They share the same structure. I want to build them together so that I can figure out if I could move the river, because I think I can move the river up just a little bit. I think I can do that, but I don't know yet until I build those buildings and hopefully scale them down to fit things better. I plan on building maybe a tree house. I plan on building the Pirates of the Caribbean and a little bit of New Orleans. Hopefully that happens. And then I need to figure out if Big Thunder can fit. That's also the other issue too. But overall, right now, I feel very confident with this project and where it's going. So here's Main Street at night. This was too much fun to do, actually, doing all the lights and stuff like that. Even though it takes some time, it is worth the effort because it really just brings that Main Street feel. And I love every bit about it. I wish the railroad would work in the center here so I can see the trolleys go down, but all aesthetic. I still have to build those trolleys at the either end, maybe. Well, I haven't figured that out yet. I'll venture onto it. But the main next project is to work on the hub, build the partner statue, build the castle, the entrance to Tomorrowland, Frontierland, and Adventureland. That is the main idea. But yeah, if we zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see how the park's kind of migrating toward. But overall, this is pretty great. So thank you guys for watching. And stay tuned because more things will start happening. Every week I'm going to work on this. And I'm hopefully the start of the new school year, because my work starts up again. Hopefully this doesn't interrupt my flow. Cross fingers. Because I can hopefully do some of this working on this project after work if I'm not too tired. We'll see. But cross the fingers that I continue to do this. But I'm very excited to see what next this Disneyland will provide us and show us. And because I'm learning some new techniques here and there, copying certain structures. And it's been fun. So thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys in the next Tiny Disneyland episode. Bye.